Hey there, fellow watch lovers. This is your host, Laz, bringing you a review on the Orient Mako 2, reference number FAA0009D9. Jesus, what a mouthful. I feel like I was giving coordinates there. Well, I'll start off with the case at 41.5 millimeters. Is not your average size watch, but fits my wrist very comfortable. I know for some folks that may be a little bit too big, but my 7.5 wrists, it's perfect. Take a look at the very high polish finish that they have on the side of this case with the nice brush on the top of the lugs. I think Orient did a phenomenal job with the finish on this watch. It doesn't surprise me that they're in some way somehow tied with Seiko under that Seiko umbrella. They tend to have the same quality control when it comes to their finishes. I mean, they really do. They do it like no other. We get this cleaned up here. Yeah, I think I got it. There you have a signed crown by Orient. Very nice touch. It's something that you don't usually find in watches in this price range, unless you go into something like Pagani, which that's a whole nother story. And not taking anything from Pagani. I own a few myself, but just don't waste your money on it. Anyways, here we have a Ritche Watchband. One of my favorite watch band companies. I get all my straps from them. Anyways, moving on. Here we have the dial. One of the most spectacular features of this watch. I mean, just take a look at that sunburst effect. Applied indices. Beautiful sword hands that match those indices perfect. I mean, it just marries this watch nicely. And that seconds hand. I mean, Orient really outdid themselves here with that seconds hand, dipping that tip in red. This is a very legible dial. Big fan of this. This is probably one of my favorite watches that I own. Take a look at that chapter ring too. You get the same effect on the chapter ring that you get on the dial. It's not something that you usually find in other watches. Typically, the chapter ring may be a different color, or it just doesn't match up 100%. One of the other things that really kind of caught my eye here was the once again those sword hands, but also taking a look at that date and day window. It's not common to see a nice how do you refer to that? Just the outer edge of that window. I mean, that you don't usually see that in a watch at this price range. Anyways, moving on. Here, the bezel action. I mean, just yeah, I just do that for fun. Honestly, I don't think anyone ever really uses their bezels for the functions that they're meant. I use it more as a fidget. I gotta say, this is one of the best bezels I have ever seen in a watch at this price range. You're talking about $140 with the bezel on a watch at that price range that just has no play. It's 120 clicks, unidirectional bezel. Overall, Orient really did a phenomenal job with this timepiece. I mean, they really didn't skimp out on the most important parts of the watch, which is it's not something you commonly see. Typically, the companies will skimp out on things like the bezel. Well, that's it for the bezel. Moving on here to one of my next things that I really put to the test. Me personally, I've taken this timepiece to the Springs here in Florida, and I can say it without a doubt has survived some pretty decent time in the water. It is a screw down crown too, so that helps with the water resistant. It is advertised as 200 meters, and I am so sorry about the background noise. So yeah, it is advertised as 200 meters of water resistant. I can't say that it's not, but what I can tell you is it's not officially certified. So I wouldn't recommend you take your watch diving. Alrighty. All right, moving on here to the crystal. Unfortunately, it is a mineral crystal, leaving a lot to be desired on that note. But on the other hand, I gotta say, this crystal has very little glare, so I'm not sure what Orient did here. There's no anti-glare on this timepiece that I'm aware of, and quite frankly, if there were, you can see it, but There isn't, but nonetheless, there is very little glare, allowing the dial of the watch to be very legible. So, on that note, Orient, you did a phenomenal job with that. As for the movement, Orient did a phenomenal job here. This is an in-house movement, the Orient F6922 automatic movement. This supports hand winding, has a 40-hour power reserve, and beats at 21,600 beats per hour. Very impressive movement for the price. And I gotta say, Orient, it's hard. I don't know how they do it or how they did it, but what I can say is that good luck finding another watch at this price range that's gonna offer you an in-house movement with those kind of specs. It's almost unheard of. I can say that it keeps great time. I have in the past, when I first got it, I kind of monitored the timekeeping on it, and I think it was probably losing anywhere between 2 to 3 seconds per day, which is not bad at all in this price range. So very great job there, Orient. And just look at the way that seconds hand sweep. All right, moving on to the one part about this timepiece that left so much to be desired. The strap that came with this, or not the strap, the bracelet that came with this watch was terrible. Let me backtrack here. It wasn't terrible. It's just I've had better watch bracelets in the price range that this Orient's at, but I'm not gonna knock it because, to be honest with you, I'm usually not a fan of the supplied bracelets. So I did throw mine on this Ritche Watchband. I can tell you this band, man, they did a great job. You have these little stoppers here, and then they kind of tuck in at the other end here of the strap, and it just kind of secures the watch on. I don't know if you've ever had any of these watches come loose on you for using a cheap watch band, and it's had happened to me in the past. Luckily not with any of my favorite watches, but yeah. And then you also get these quick release spring bars. I gotta say, what better way than to pair this Orient watch that gives you so much value for your money with a watch band like Ritche Watchbands. They give you amazing value for the money. I'm a huge fan. All of my watch bands come from Ritche Watchband, and there is no sponsorship or anything with them. They just make great product. So I highly recommend it. I think I paid about 16 bucks for this strap, and it comes with a shorter edition as well in case you need a smaller strap. Oh, wrist check. Forgot to show you what's on the wrist. Should have did that at the beginning of the video, but yep. Got the little Seiko there. Let me go ahead and take this off so I can show you a wrist shot of the watch. Show you what it looks like on the wrist. If I can get that off. There we go. All right, put this on. Yep. That Seiko, man, I got a review coming up on that one as well. I know there's so many of them out there, but just to give you my take on it. Come on. Sorry, I'm trying to do this while manning the camera at the same time. There we go. All right, so just take a close look at that, man. I mean, this am I getting this right? I don't know if you can see it. There we go. Okay, it's kind of hard to get this in the picture while trying to man the camera at the same time, but just take a close look there. I mean, it fits nicely on the wrist, sits very nice on the wrist. It kind of tapers off a little bit towards the end of the lug, so it really conforms to the wrist very nicely. I'm gonna throw up a loom shot here. It's a little time lapse of the loom, and it wasn't fully charged, but to kind of give you an idea of what the loom is like. Pretty good, honestly, for the price. All right, so overall, my take on this timepiece, I mean, I highly recommend the Orient Mako 2. The value for money, it really is mind-blowing. You get an in-house movement, an amazing finish on the case, applied indices, a beautiful finish on the dial. The bezel action literally feels like a $500 watch on your wrist. So I gotta say, Orient did a phenomenal job there. And the name Orient, it's a brand that's known for quality. I mean, being under the Seiko umbrella, the Seiko Epson umbrella, they put out nothing but quality. As far as the downfalls, the bracelet that's provided, it's not of high quality at all. The loom, even though it's not bad, it still leaves some room for improvement, but nonetheless, it's better than what I've seen in most watches at this price range. But overall, you know, I think the Orient Mako 2 it's a great watch. You know, and for the price at 100, and when I bought it was $119 to be exact. I think right now they're going for about 140. I'll drop a link below in case you're interested. The power reserve at 40 hours, it's you know, it's not bad, but it's not good either. The crown action seems very gritty. So when you're screwing in that crown back in, it just really has a gritty feel to it. It's not the best. I'm not going to lie to you. But yeah, that's pretty much my take on the Orient Mako 2. I highly recommend this timepiece. And there you have it. Again, guys, this is Laz over here at the Watch Life channel. Go ahead and subscribe and hit that smash that like button if you're interested in seeing some more videos from me.